What's up, everybody? This is the Disciple Rick coming to you with another brief podcast. This one, again, is for all of you PIMOs out there who are physically in but mentally out. But you got to stay in for a little while and take care of some family business. You got to handle things a certain way, so you can't leave, nor can you let anyone know your true feelings. But you want to look like you're participating in the meetings and things. So hey, this is one for you. So this one is on John 1:1. This is different from my other one on John 1:1, where I was really focusing on the term God. But this is actually on the term the Word. Now, I know in J-Dub the question has never been asked, why is it, or where did the Jews get the term logos or the Word from? I mean, it just is not in any other verse. So where did John come up with, in the beginning was the Word? It seems a little strange. We never asked that question. Well, I think that if you ask that question or introduce this concept of why was Jesus called the Word, I think that this would kind of put you on a different level in terms of your study or understanding of the scriptures. And, and Jehovah's Witnesses love information, knowledge. But anyway, where did that term the Word come from? Well, here's something for you. The term the Word was actually very common among the Jews. So if you go back and think back in the time, I think this is in Nehemiah chapter 13, what happened was many of the Israelites had started to lose the Hebrew tongue. And it goes back further than that. You remember that the Assyrians destroyed the northern kingdom in 740 BCE, somewhere around there, and they took a lot of the Israelites captive then too. So over the generations, they began to lose the Hebrew tongue and they began to speak Aramaic. So it was the same thing going on in Nehemiah's time. The Jews who had been taken to Babylon, some of them lost the Hebrew tongue, and when they came back, or they were losing it, and when they came back, they were marrying foreign wives and they weren't learning Hebrew, all of that. So you had a collective amount of Israelites, Jews, they were all called Jews then, who had lost the Hebrew tongue. Well, the Hebrew scriptures were then translated into Aramaic. So therefore the concepts that the Jews understood from Hebrew, they had to put and note that in Aramaic in the scriptures that they wrote, so that when a Jew or an Israelite who didn't speak Hebrew but could speak and read Aramaic would read a verse, they had to know what the verse was actually saying, how the Israelites understood this in the past. So therefore, when they made the Aramaic Targums, there were a number of scriptures in the Targums where the Jews understood that when it said a certain thing with Yahweh, or as Jehovah's Witnesses would say, Jehovah, in the understanding of Hebrew, it was talking about the Word and Yahweh or Jehovah. Okay? The word for logos or word is Memra, M-E-M-R-A. So in the Aramaic Targums, there are quite a number of scriptures where both Memra and Yahweh are used, but in the Hebrew, it only says maybe God or Yahweh. Let me give you an example. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 3, where God said that my spirit, the scripture says, Jehovah said, or Yahweh said, my spirit will not act indefinitely towards man. So when he says man will only be able to live 120 years. Okay. In the Aramaic Targum, it said, and the Lord said by his word, Memra. See, so God used his spokesperson. And Jehovah's Witnesses love to call Jesus, well, he was the spokesman. But, well, where do you see that at? Well, they don't really know. But in the scriptures, it uses that term in the Aramaic Targums. Another one in Genesis 5:2, where it says he, a male and female, he created them, he blessed them. Well, it says he created them in the Aramaic Targum. It says male and female, he created them and blessed them in the name of his word. There's some other scriptures in Genesis 6:6 where it says Yahweh regretted that he had made human beings on earth. It says, and he repented the Lord in his word. And then it says, and he passed judgment upon them by his word. And that word is capitalized. So you understand that one is capitalized, showing a proper noun. So if this was in Greek, it would say logos, the word. So anyway, there are a number of scriptures that point this out. If you decide to do some research and just put in Memra in the Aramaic Targums into, Google, any search engine, it'll pull up websites that have the Aramaic Targums translated into English. And you can find a number of these verses to see where it's Yahweh or Jehovah along with the word. So that's where John got the concept of the word. It was from the Aramaic Targums, which the Jews knew and understood and were taught. So look, I just want to pass that little word on to you. Maybe if you get a opportunity, Jehovah's Witnesses always have John 1:1 in their publications at some point. But maybe if you get an opportunity, you can use that in a comment, and everybody can like, oh, wow, they're so spiritual. They know so much. You know how Jehovah's Witnesses act. All right, that's all I had for you. I just want to throw that little, this little brief point out, something that you PIMOs can use for when you have to make comments at the meetings. You don't care what the Watchtower says or the question that was asked. You don't want any more of the indoctrination. It's a good way to break that indoctrination by just commenting on what you want to comment. And then people, they'll think you so spiritual, and while you're trying to make your exit. All right, this is the Disciple Rick. Y'all take care.